What up, friends? My rhythm is debatable, and today we're going to be taking a look at Red Velvet's newest mini-album, Feel My Rhythm. This is the newest mini-album by the K-pop girl group Red Velvet. Though I don't really follow the group per se, Red Velvet are definitely one of the most consistent K-pop groups out there right now, making some pretty forward-thinking pop and K-pop music ever since their 2015 debut. Like many others in the scene, they have experimented with many different genres over the course of their careers. However, this sort of fuzzy and dreamy pop music that they're playing with here does stand among their best moments in their catalog, I think. At least of the songs that I've personally heard, of course. We open up with the title track, Feel My Rhythm, and honestly, for a title track, it's pretty subdued, but I'm honestly not complaining. That string intro is delicate and grand, and the transition into the sort of fuzzy and glitchy pop beat was pretty well done. The vocals keep that delicate vibe going though, especially in the chorus. That chorus, man, it's so fucking good. Those strings hit so hard and the flows are so airy and dreamlike. Like, Red Velvet are masters of the chorus. The verses have a bit more contemporary pop and electronic touches, however, it just adds to the groove of the vocals. It's such an interesting combination of elegant yet energetic sounds that create this summer vibe that fits the lyrics of just enjoying life and having fun. We continue the fuzzy pop vibe with Rainbow Halo thanks to the crunchy beat and wistful synths. The girls' vocals are fun and have a sort of sing-along vibe to them, and again, that chorus is just masterful. It's so chill with the introduction of a new synth tone and a sax of all things. It honestly, in a weird way, kind of reminds me of late career B-52s when they fully embraced their pop side. Smooth vocals and instrumentals alongside some tight production just create a banger of a song. It's a subtle and sweet banger though, let's be clear. A bop, if you will. The natural imagery in the lyrics alongside the sort of rainbow color scheming we got going on here fits the sort of ethereal love lyrics beautifully. The next track, Beg For Me, is definitely a change of pace. It definitely has a more traditional pop banger aesthetic, however it does still keep those sort of subtle and smooth vibes going thanks to a muted bass and sort of gritty and dark guitar tone. Funnily enough, while I really love the chorus of the last two tracks, I think it's actually the weakest moment here, feeling kind of simplistic compared to the verses. The beat on this one is also a bit less interesting compared to the rest of the mini-album, however it does still have some good vocal performances and fun flows. If the chorus had a bit more of the vibe that the verses had and the beat wasn't so static, we would have had a winner, but as it stands, it's okay. It also does fit the sort of bad bitch angle we got going on in the lyrics for what it's worth. Next up we got Bombaleo, and what a great dance pop tune, man. It almost has some like synth pop and disco influences too, just adding to the glittering spectacle. The vocals are silky and smooth, the synths are glitzy and jazzy, the bass is just very punchy and tight, like what a great instrumental. The song has a lot of texture to it too, from the rumbling of the bass to the spacey synths that glaze over the track, and even having a sort of guitar solo that comes in near the end of all things. It's unapologetically over the top, but I kind of love it for that, as it fully embraces these 70s and 80s pop sounds. It even has some jovial lyrics about dancing the night away, perfect for the era that it takes its influence from. Now we slow it down with a jazzy contemporary R&B tune with Good, Bad, Ugly. This one is yet another hit, I have to say. I love the bounce that the piano and beat have without sacrificing the elegant nature of the track. The subtle guitar also adds a decent amount of flair without overpowering any other aspect of the instrumental. That chorus is lush as hell, and the big emphasis on the harmonies on this mini-album overall are pretty nice to see. I will always say that I prefer every member to have a very distinct vocal tone, and I do think Red Velvet have that to a degree, but sometimes when the harmonies kick in and they just go at it together, it just feels right. Super chill vibes with a self-love anthem over it, like, sign me up, bro. I will say that In My Dreams isn't as strong of a closer as I would have liked, but it's not bad. It has a unique aesthetic to it, sounding like a fairy tale-esque waltz, but it sounds a bit hollow in comparison to the other tracks on here. I do like how bombastic it gets during the chorus when the drums and cymbals come crashing in, but the verses are pretty simplistic in comparison. The verses are honestly the biggest problem, feeling kind of boring in a way, and I wish they could have had a beat that matched the vibrant nature of the chorus. The vocals are also pretty good, but don't showcase anything that different from what we've already heard on the mini-album. I will say though that the lyrical angle of the girls finding this one person attractive and hoping that they would reciprocate their feelings, but they only do so in their dreams, it's pretty interesting and it does fit this instrumental. I have to say though, this was a pretty well-rounded mini-album from Red Velvet. Despite the variety it also has a very unified aesthetic, and I was surprised to see how much mileage they got out of these instrumentals. The lyrics were also pretty vivid and showcased a good amount of topics. Red Velvet also once again proved themselves to be a master of the chorus. There's a lot of catchy melodies on this thing, man. I will say though that some songs did sound a bit less fleshed out than others, like Beg For Me and In My Dreams. However, these songs were still pretty decent and did still fit the vibe of the project. Overall, Feel My Rhythm isn't the girls' most experimental release, but it's a very solid one and a good addition to their repertoire. I might actually have to go back and do a deep dive on their discography, because from this and the singles that I've heard that they've released in the past, I'm kind of liking their vibe. But anyway, for this mini album in particular, I'm feeling a strong 7 for Red Velvet. Of course, we still have to talk about album covers on this show, and this one is okay. It has a collage-y aesthetic that has been fairly consistent for their past few releases as well. It's not my favorite style, as it's not collage-y enough to be super design heavy. It just feels like an interesting sort of, or an awkward sort of middle ground rather. I think the color scheme is pretty good. It's very pastel-y, very light, very charming. It fits that sort of dreamy pop aesthetic that they got on here. It's just not really my style. It's a little too busy for my liking. But those are just my thoughts on this newest mini album by Red Velvet. What do you guys think? Do you also think this is a pretty solid addition to their discography, or were you hoping for something a little bit more, maybe a few more bangers? Let me know. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, or I'll send you to the Red Velvet Festival. That's not a threat. But until the next one, farewell.